Some things are impossible to know, but it is impossible to know these things.
Hello, good day, and welcome to
Paul Schindler, podcast on things is here for you.
Not surprisingly, I'm your host, Paul Schindler. Thank you for listening.
AI, danger, warning Will Robinson, market crash ahead. Now, you heard all the variations. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it, or the Henry Kissinger variation, history does not repeat itself, but it rhymes. There's a remarkable amount of pig ignorance among Americans, especially people in finance, about the crash that preceded the Great Depression. Didn't cause it, you can look up the causes, because correlation is not causality. The crash was the straw that broke the camel's back, but it wasn't the camel. The straw is once again heavy, and that guy with the ballroom is more Herbert Hoover than FDR. People often believe that the law of gravity has been repealed, that what goes up will never come down. With the exception of inflation, that's probably true. How fast can things go to hell? Well, pretty fast. Celebrate the market hitting an all-time high after high? We'll all be millionaires, or at least have fat 401k accounts. Well, here's the fact. The Dow Jones Industrial Average hit its all-time high on September 3rd, 1929. 8 weeks later, October 28th, 1929, the market crashed and didn't get back to that high until 1954. Things can happen fast and last a long time. Once Wall Street awakes from its bender, the masses are ignorant. Wall Street does not contain all knowledge in the world. Once Wall Street awakes from its bender and realizes that Trump only loves himself, there's going to be a crash. Structural problems caused the... let me read that again. Structural problems caused the crash and depression, and then tariffs exacerbated it. I hear rhyming in the distance. Past performance is not indicative of future results until it is. Stay in your seats with your seat belts fastened. We may experience some severe turbulence ahead. If things get really bad, bend over double and kiss your ass goodbye. At least, don't say you were never warned. And finally, the 1929 crash, like the 2025 crash, was a self-fulfilling prophecy. People talked about it so much, it became true. AI versus live music. I had a recent exchange with a musician on the subject of whether AI will kill live music. Now, what I said to him is, records did not kill live music. Radio did not kill live music. The internet did not kill live music. All these advances simply raised the bar and, of course, put hundreds of thousands of musicians out of work. I've read that prior to the invention of the phonograph, a lot of musicians were not all that talented, but they made a living because people had nothing to compare them to. I don't think AI is going to raise the bar. Pasting together other people's ideas and performances is not likely to create anything original or bring live music to an end. The final part of the exchange, I said to him, at least you have one protection. I don't think AI is going on tour anytime soon. His response, I'm genuinely not so sure about that. But live music will always have a place, I feel. You can't beat genuine human connection. I hope he wasn't just whistling past the graveyard. Dad on Broadway. Apropos of the recent death of Tom Stoppard, a few days after I graduated from MIT in 1974, I took my dad to the only Broadway show he ever saw. A few days after I graduated, it was Jumpers, about the philosophy department filled with gymnasts. For the rest of his life, my father told people that Broadway shows start with a naked redhead swinging over the audience on a trapeze. Stoppard had me at Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, still the cleverest play I've ever seen, even better than Noises Off. Doing, not helping. A recent LinkedIn essay on doing, not helping, took me back a half century. The differential nature of memory strikes again. 50 years after the fact, my then lover doesn't remember saying this. We were living together and I said I'd like to help with something. And she said, "You're not helping, you're doing it with me." Helping implies that it's my job. I don't think a year's gone by without me thinking of that statement, including while writing my song, Nothing I Wouldn't Do. One of the lyrics is, "Be your partner in the cooking, clean stuff up when you're not looking." It started as help you with the cooking, and then I thought of what Beth said and changed it. I sometimes catch myself saying helping and then quickly correct myself. Despite the current attempt to denigrate feminism, I still see, let me read that again. Despite the current attempt to denigrate feminism, I still see the occasional outcropping. I've never before read such a clear exposition of the position. I like to think that my daughters never have to correct their husbands, who seem to have been raised properly. As Martin Mull says, I'm all the women I've ever loved, all rolled into one. Slicing the Baloney. For long stretches of his half-century journalism career, my mentor, Edwin Diamond, was a freelancer. He told me to do what he did, slice the baloney. If you do a lot of research on a subject, he said, use it for the assignment and then be creative and use the same research to create several more stories that are sufficiently different to avoid detection. Slice the baloney of research until it's so thin you can read through it. It might seem like he was getting away with something, but it worked for him and it worked for me. The most I ever got out of one story was 3 resales, but that was 2 more than most freelancers get, and it was for much less work. And Edwin, in his years as media critic of New York Magazine, did the ultimate baloney slicing. He created book-length collections of his columns, which means he made money for them twice without even having to change anything at all. Well, as the burnished chariot of fate is wheel clamped by the I even have trouble reading the funny stuff. Well, as the burnished chariot of fate is wheel clamped by the traffic warden of eternity, thanks for listening. Today's walk-off music, hot off the presses. It took me a few years, but ever since I wrote You're the Only Woman Man Enough to Bask in My Love, I wanted to do a gendered, reversed version. Well, Sweet Mia turns out to be the perfect vocalist. So here it is, Bask in My Love.
I had so much true love to give. I think it was for that I lived. I just better let it all flow. But it seems it scared some when it showed. You're the only man who's man enough to bask in my love. It's true, I was just born that way. Love flows from me night and day. I thought the boys would be so impressed, and yet some felt me too obsessed. When I was young, sentimental, love for me was instrumental. My love for all was reflected. That was what I then expected. some boys that just cannot fake it. When love flows, they cannot take it. I found one boy, push come to shove, who did not run when shown my love. Turns out it was easy to do. Guess what, boy? That boy was you. You're the only man who's man enough to bask in